Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show. Real talk, big opinions, and fearless conversations. From the front lines of politics to the latest in pop culture. From breaking sports headlines to the stories that move the world. Nothing's off limits, and nobody's holding back. Arrington Gavin is here to break it down, build it up, and keep it all the way real. So turn it up, lean in, and let's get into it. This is the Arrington Gavin Show.
What's happening, ladies and gents? Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show, your go-to spot for sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day. Whether it's politics, sports, pop culture, or the latest buzz, look, we're diving deep and keeping it real. So please do me a favor, kick back, stay informed, and get ready to join the conversation. Look, my friends, on today's conversation, I am honored to have on the voice, Mr. Aaron Phillips. Aaron, I will give the full resume once we, right before we bring him on the show, because he is truly a renaissance man in the world of media. He has done it all. Someone that I highly admire because I still feel like I'm kind of young in the game. Now, we've done about, let's say, well over, we're at 542. This actually is episode 542, but I'm still a rookie. I'm still a student of the game. I've always shared with the audience, look, I will continue to be a student every single day. And, I learn from those that came before me. And, Aaron, man, is one of those individuals who has literally accomplished and still in the game, killing it. And just very honored to have him on, just to have a great conversation. Now, giving y'all a little backstory, I had the honor of meeting Aaron and his wife at a hockey game over my home area of Hampton Roads, Virginia. We have a squad called the Norfolk Admirals, and we were enjoying a hockey game. And through a mutual friend, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I would love to introduce you to Aaron. I'd love to introduce you to each other." And so they were like, I think you guys get along. Man, we connected just like that. You hear me? We connected just like that. Because for one, I was familiar with this program on Sky4 TV. You should check it out. It's called The Voice of the 757. So I was already a fan to begin with, but then I started, having a conversation with them, and he started talking about his interest in pro wrestling. Ding, 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 ding. Now, I'm a huge wrestling fan as well, right? And then he started talking about Batman. I'm like, hold up. So now we got to talking about Batman, pro wrestling, and it's nothing more like just a breath of fresh air when you're talking with somebody that is also a fan of conversation, right? That's a conversationalist. I always mess with my wife because my wife is like, oh my gosh, you can talk. You are a long-winded individual. My folks have said that, my family. So it's good to, have a conversation with another fellow person that's also long-winded. All right. So anyway, we got to talking, man. And it's funny because I couldn't even remember most of the game because we were talking. We were having a good time, enjoying ourselves. And sad to say, I believe the Admirals lost that game. I think they did. But it's okay. It's okay. We left as winners, right? Because I made a new friend. That's what I'm talking about. But to make a long story short, y'all, you guys are going to be in for a treat because we're going to discuss all things from his career, what led him into the media space, right? Hosting multiple programs, receiving so many honors, as well as we're going to talk some wrestling. We're going to talk some WWE because there's so much news in that space as well. So this is going to be, as I mentioned, y'all, this is going to be a fun show because, it is campaign season. It's midterms. I've had on a lot of candidates and elected officials, and, I give you the norm, right? But here and there, I will separate myself from the political space and talk maybe some entertainment, talk some other things that interest me. So that's why we're honored to have on Aaron Phillips on the program later. Before I move forward, y'all, as always, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to tune into yet another great episode here on the Arrington Gavin Show. As you know, we are continue to grow each and every day. So please do me a favor. As you know, we have a goal to try and hit 5,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. Okay, 5,000 subscribers. We're creeping up there slowly but surely. We're getting there, but we see growth each and every day because, hey, you all have watched, you've enjoyed. And hey, look, I even have folks that might leave a comment that might disagree with me. But the funny thing is, hey, they still follow and that view still counts. So I thank you. I thank you for the haters, those who love me. Shout out to Erica Kane. They love me. They really love me. Or Susan Lucci. There we go. Erica Kane was her character in the All My Children's. But I truly appreciate those that stay engaged with my content. Also, we're everywhere. Okay. We drop new episodes of the Arrington Gavin Show Monday through Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, as well as wherever you get your podcast. That could be Spotify, Apple, iHeart, whatever, right? Wherever you get your podcast, you can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show. In addition to that, you can also listen to us on the radio airwave. Shout out to our affiliates, KSHP, 1400 AM and 107.1 FM, Las Vegas. You can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show Fridays at 8 p.m. Pacific Time. Again, that's on KSHP, 1400 AM, 107.1 FM, Las Vegas. Then we're going to head over to the Metro Atlanta area to WDJY 99.1 FM, Straight Talk. Weeknights at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show. And then lastly, our fam in the New Orleans area, WBOK 1230 a.m. You can tune into the show weeknights at 7 p.m. Central Time. And that's only on WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about. All righty, I think I've mentioned all the ways, so there's no excuse. If you're trying to find, where can we find? I'm still trying to find a show. Where's the show? No excuse. Where our goal is to be everywhere, and we almost are. So there is no excuse. All right, my friends. Okay, now what we're gonna do, we are gonna head to a quick commercial break because I have to take a breather, right? Because talking for a long time, yeah, I love doing it, but guess what? I still need to rest the vocals a little bit. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we'll be honored to have on special guest Mr. Aaron Phillips. Do not go anywhere and do not change that dial. You're listening to the Arrington Gavin Show.
Every man has a story to tell. Your ambitions, your achievements, your legacy. Your suit should reflect that story, crafted precisely, designed for impact, and tailored exclusively for you. We work with only the finest fabrics, luxurious wools, silk, linen, and blends from world-renowned mills in Italy, the UK, and India. These fabrics are the foundation of custom suits that exude elegance and stand the test of time. But a suit isn't just about fabric, it's about fit, and it's about confidence, and it all starts with you. When you work with me, you'll receive a personalized consultation, whether in person or over Zoom. Together, we'll explore your vision and discuss your needs. And we're gonna bring your ideas to life. My journey as a designer includes apprenticing under New York-based designer Clavon Leonard, showcasing collections at New York Fashion Week, Algeria Fashion Week, and the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. That experience is what we bring to every suit we create, from weddings to corporate events and everything in between. We specialize in crafting one-of-a-kind suits for life's most significant moments. Dapper Luke has been recognized as one of Baltimore's best menswear in 2023, and I was honored to be one of the 10 designers selected for the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. With over 900 satisfied clients, we proudly serve Virginia Beach and Baltimore, bringing world-class designs to these incredible communities. We don't just make suits, we craft confidence. Your suit will fit your body, your style, and it will tell your story. Book your free online personal consultation today. Visit www.dapperluke.com.
And we still in traffic.
I don't look familiar, do I? Not in this seat.
Hey, what's that you listening to?
Here to host today.
Hey, turn it up. Yeah, this that new GoatVerse app. I got you.
So y'all want to know where the goats are? They're off on the sidelines.
Looking for fresh, relevant content wherever you go?
What was the name of that he said?
Introducing GoatVerse TV.
GoatVerse, that's what it's called.
The free streaming app that brings you the best podcasts, current events, and thought-provoking opinions all in one place. Download it now from the Apple Store or Play Store. In Goats, we trust.
Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Order our scented beard oils and beard balms to help you maintain and grow the perfect beard. Order today. Try our men's care products like the full body exfoliating cleansing bars, body wash, smooth stash, and more. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Rugged Evolution Beard Care. We're your luxury but affordable men's care line. And remember,
Rugged is the new smooth.
All right, folks, before I bring on our special guest, I want to give this man a proper introduction because with a resume like his, he deserves it. All right. I tried to call in the royal family to give him a grand intro, and they were like, hey, we can't make it this time. All right, it's okay. I have to do it. I have to fill in for them. Joining us this evening is a man whose voice has been heard across the country and across multiple industries. Aaron Phillips is a seasoned radio personality, professional wrestling commentator, sports broadcaster, voiceover actor, public speaker, and author. He's the host of Aaron's Hour with Aaron Phillips, Coast to Coast, and the Kiwanis Connects Show. And many of you may also know him, especially those in the Hampton Roads area, as the host of The Voice of 757 on Sky4 TV. Aaron's career has earned him major recognitions, including induction into the Las Vegas Entertainers Hall of Fame and honors like Real Vegas Magazine's Magnificent Man of Las Vegas. He's also the author of the inspiring book, Let My Voice Speak to You, where he shares lessons about the choices we make in life. And on top of all of that, he's a huge professional wrestling fan and Batman enthusiast. That's what connected us right there, my friends. So we've got plenty to talk about this evening. Please welcome my good buddy, Mr. Aaron Phillips. Aaron, how you doing, my friend?
Well, you know, Mean Gene, when these 24-inch pythons run wild on you, what you gonna do, brother? When you take those vitamins and drink that milk and say your prayers, and you're stuck watching a show with Aaron Phillips. How are you, my friend? What's coming?
Man, I am doing great. I've been looking forward to this conversation, man. As I shared with the folks earlier, how we connected, and it's like, hey, you know, I felt like I know this guy for a long time.
Well, you see who I brought with me, who's in the background, right? You see that? Brought that for you today.
Man, look, and I know he's a busy man too. The fact that he has Batman that comes, only Aaron can pull this off, man.
Well, no, man, gotta love CGI. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta love it. But Aaron, man, again, thank you so much for taking the time out your busy schedule to come here on the show. So our folks will get familiar with you, because this will not be the last time you'll be on. We'll love to continue to have you on the
Absolutely.
show. Man, what led you to just media in general? What was this something that was always a passion for yours, and during your younger, and during as a kid, or was this something that happened at a later age for you? Like, please share the story.
Absolutely. How do you kind of bottle it up? It's funny because one of my daughters, she's a sound designer on Broadway, right? When I was growing up, what did you want to be? Cowboy, policeman, police, fireman, where did you think about this sort of stuff? But, growing up in New Jersey and being a Yankee and Giants fan, and in that mid 70s, early 80s, watching and listening to Yankee games, I had Phil Rizzuto and Frank Messer. And as a Mets fan, you had Lindsey Nelson, Ralph Kiner, Bob Murphy, you had characters, right? And then pro wrestling, my God, in the mid to late 70s, you had Vince McMahon, and yes, the current Vince McMahon was nothing more than a broadcaster when his dad owned, when Senior owned WWF, and you got Gary Capetta in the ring, and you've got all these great characters. And did I think about it? Sure. You sit and you watch TV, or you go to a game live, and in your mind you're sitting there with a friend or your dad going, now Thurman Munson steps up to the plate. Oh, sweet. Who doesn't do that as a kid? And then as an adult, I got involved in Kiwanis International, which is a community service organization. And I was a state officer, man. I was motivating groups of 5 to 5,000 to inspire them. And so you're on that stage, on that podium, and yeah, your mind kind of wanders, the what if. And listen, dude, if it wasn't for Craigslist, I wouldn't have. And by the way, thank you for sharing my resume. You read it just the way I wrote it for you, and I appreciate that. So
I expect my money in the morning in the mail. Just want to let you know.
Absolutely.
Times are hard, buddy. Gas prices are up.
Cents in a matter of a week. Holy cow. But anyway, the check's in the mail. Wink, wink. But so, you have these visions of grandeur. And look, if it wasn't for Craigslist, I saw an ad over 20 years ago for a production company that recorded 6 weeks of junior Golden Gloves boxing in Mesquite, Nevada. And for those who are not familiar with the geography, that's about 90 minutes north of Las Vegas, of the Strip proper. And I sent in my resume, totally forgot about it. And a couple of months later, I get this email saying, hey, Aaron, we got your resume. Are you still interested? And this was 3 months after they recorded these. And I'm like, yeah, sure I am. What's going on? And well, in post-production, they didn't like the crew that they had covering it. As magic would have, they got rid of the voices that they had on there. They paired me with the gentleman who was a professional athlete, and he'd called over 600 boxing matches. Hell, I did a 30-day trial in a boxing gym. I knew a hook from across and an uppercut. Like, I knew just enough.
There you go.
Just enough. And after we re-recorded, we had such great chemistry that I said to him, dude, we need to do a sports talk show. You're the professional athlete. We can talk about anything. You can give that perspective. Me, come Monday morning, I think every coach and manager are idiots and they make the wrong calls, and we could talk about any perspective. And he looked at me and he said, Aaron, he said, he said, you get us sponsors, I'll get us the airtime. And I said, okay. And I came home, after that meeting, and I told my wife about this. And now that you've had an opportunity to meet my wife, you can appreciate the next line she fed me. And I said, babe, I have one problem with this opportunity. And she goes, only one? So I'm like, yeah, babe. And she said, what's that? And I said, well, what do I know about selling air? Think about that, right? I listen, I admire the sponsors you have. I enjoyed their commercials, the dapper Luke guy, and of course the beard stuff. I mean, that's great stuff. But the value of air, how do you tell somebody the importance of that? And listen, it was meant to be, my friend, that here I am 20 and a half years later, an overnight sensation. It only took me 20 years to be an overnight sensation, right? The first 3 places I walked into all said yes. And guess where the show, the Sports Zoo that he and I launched 20 years ago, you want to ask me? I dare you. I double dog dare you, Arrington.
Look, who was it? What channel was it?
K-Shop 1400 in Las Vegas. The same radio station that your show airs 20 years ago launched the Sports Zoo with Rich Perez and Aaron Phillips. And here I am 20 years later, 20 and a half years later. All those achievements and things that you mentioned are very humbling. Why? Because like you, as you and I found out that you're right. I know the Admirals lost that night. I don't know what the score was. I don't really care, because you and I had so much fun chatting. That the passion for what we do is what has carried me through everything. But it was answering an ad on Craigslist, my friend, and hustling my butt off and working for everything that I've done to this point has just been a godsend.
Wow. And one thing, it was funny, y'all, because I was talking with Aaron beforehand. I'm like, what a lot of my guests, I'll give myself some just bullet points, kind of what topics I'm going to, but obviously it's just, I go off the cuff. I don't really go in the same order. And you've mentioned, really the biggest task, I'll ask you this as a pro, in radio alone, sales is everything. And I want to ask you, is it harder like in the digital space now? Like, because I've asked folks that have been in just radio for years, because we see, for example, linear cable, cable is slowly but surely, depleting, and now you're seeing everything going to streaming. Mm-hmm. Is the sales part, is it a challenge now because of streaming, or is it, how do you navigate it? How do you navigate it?
So let me preface my answer by letting you know that I started in this industry 20 years ago when internet radio was just being born, when everybody knew only of AM and FM. And when I would go in and talk to people, I had to educate them on the value of internet radio, the podcast, the archive, the forever listening because of the internet, because AM and FM and regular TV, once that commercial or that show airs, it's done. There was no way to recapture it. So to answer your question to that, here's the beauty of what I love, what I do. I don't do a whole lot of mass marketing. I'm a handshaker. I network. I love meeting people. I love hearing the story of that beard company that you just ran a commercial for. I would want to know what started that. What was the aha moment? And I want to get to know the person behind the business. So I love going to chamber meetings and network marketing, because here's the bottom line. People have messages and they want to get their message out, whether it's a product, a concept, a theory, an opinion, whatever it is. People want to get it out there. And with today's rapid pace of wanting it, because of these doggone blessed things called a cell phone, which are now connected to the internet, we want stuff now. And the beauty of, the stuff that you and I do on the internet, whether it's on the YouTube channel or apps or whatever it is, we can provide them access now. If we build the value of what we do, that's a 5-letter word that has a heavy meaning, dude. If we can build the value in what we do, I don't care what platform it is. I don't care if it's 2 tin cans with a string connecting people or the fast internet. As long as there's value in what we can offer our clientele, I don't care what medium it is. It doesn't make it any harder. What makes it hard is if we don't adjust to the times and adapt to what's changing around us, then we'll kill ourselves, because we're not adapting to what the market needs and to making our product and what we do adaptable to what our business clientele need. That's what hurts us more than anything else.
And I couldn't agree with you more on that, because I have come across a lot of, very popular, companies, businesses that, they've been very successful, throughout the years, but it's like, okay, why haven't y'all gone a digital route? I'm just curious, because like you have mentioned, why not? And that's not just, digital, but just in general, you have to keep up with the times. It changes every day, sometimes minutes, hours. It changes so fast. I mean, I feel like just the other day we had 3 regular, and I always use kind of like news and politics in it. At first it was, CNN, MSNBC, Fox, NBC, you had your channels. Now everything has a streaming attached to it. I mean, there's we see the negotiations between, Paramount, Warner Brothers, Netflix, it's so large, and it's just like, wow, like it amazes me. But again, it continues to say, okay, you have to work 20 times harder than you already did. And
again, I'll go back to this device. I mean, this device has made our jobs harder, because, when we see it on the news all the time, there's something that happens, right? Good, bad, or indifferent. And I'll just say, there was a major accident on Virginia Beach Boulevard over by Princess Anne High School. Somebody was injured. There was an accident the other morning in Chesapeake where a gentleman was hit, but there's more people on the side of the road taking out their cameras to record it than going over to help the individuals, right? I mean, we see it in TV shows that we watch, right? The writers exponentially show that situation. Somebody gets hurt, there's 1,000 people standing around and I'm sitting in my living room saying, "Can't one of you just hit 911 before you hit?" Right? And that's what's happening. And because of these devices, and we are all news people now, we are all comedians, we are all actors because of these, that we have to adjust. And, I joked to my dad, my dad who still lives back in Vegas, God bless him. And thank God I get to go out there in January when it's 20 degrees here and 72 degrees back there. But, not up until a couple of years, he still had a flip phone. He still had a Jethro Gibbs style phone, right? He doesn't like to text. He wants, if you can't call me, don't. I'm like, yeah, okay, Dad. But, so the adaptation and changing with the times is so crucial, because the market demands it. We are all a victim of our own successes or inadequacies or how fast we want stuff. We have to adjust, and we have to accommodate that. Otherwise, we're going to be left behind. And one other thing about the adaptation of these older companies that I thought about when you made that comment. Businesses require 65% of their businesses come from referrals, right? 65%. So when I talk to a business, I always say to them, look, referrals are great. Don't get me wrong. They're the lifeblood of sustainability. What if you had 1 or 2% of the remaining 35%? Think about that. Because eventually those referral businesses, I hate to say it, those people doing all those referrals are going to get old. They're not going to be around forever. And so what are you going to do to replace that business in that 65% when those referral sources no longer exist? So what I try to suggest to my clients, you got to look at that 35% of business that you're not attracting. If you had 1 or 2% of that 35%, what could that mean for you and your business? And that's the part that I try to focus on, because that's where the adaptability has to be. If we just sit back and do nothing different and rely on that 65%, 65 becomes 63, becomes 59, becomes 55 because of Mother Nature. Then by the time you realize your business is diminishing, it's too late to start chasing. You're behind the 8 ball going after that 35%. So.
Adaptability is a word that is just stuck in my head right now, because I think of, for example, in my home city, we have a lot of franchise restaurants that are now closing. Sure. You would never expect, franchise restaurants that's been, open for years, and major and they're come like, wow, shopping stores, especially, malls. Let's just be honest, we're living in a period where malls are closing, demolishing, because online shopping is a fixture for everybody. It's easy, it's quick and very simple, and it's just
COVID changed that.
COVID did. You're absolutely right. COVID changed a lot of things. I've shared with folks. COVID was a blessing to some, a curse for a lot. It was really depending on how you utilize it. Because I mean, hey, we're podcasting grew heavy in during COVID. And it was a lot. It was a lot that happened during that period. Aaron, when did you know, because you spoken about your big break as far as being a commentator for boxing matches, which I know was just a dream to do, especially when you did it alongside somebody successful in the field. Right. But when did you know that the voice was gonna really take off for you? When did you know your voice was not just a tool, but it was also like, wow, this is my future. This is my calling.
That's a great question. I've never been asked that before. I ask that a lot when I ask for the aha moments for other people. This is why I don't like answering questions very often. I like asking. So there's a couple of ways I can answer that. First of all, I'm very humbled by all those accolades that you shared in the introduction, because I'm not doing this to get accolades. I'm doing this because I've never met a microphone I didn't like. Right? Let's face it. You and I are both in the same field, right? We have to take those opportunities. So, and I love helping businesses. I love putting that puzzle together to come up with a plan to succeed. But I get feedback, right? Yeah. I get feedback from others. Oh, you do a great interview. You're great at hosting events because you're so energetic. You get everybody involved. And I think, I can easily point to the Hall of Fame induction in 2018 in Las Vegas. The entertainment capital of the world recognizes me for, at that time, was only 18 years of radio, because it's not just me on the air. It's not just me doing my shows. It wasn't me just doing sports, but I give back. I do trainings. I help others. I am not one of these, oh my God, I got to keep the secret to myself. That's why I do a podcast seminar. I want to help others learn and pick my brain, because what I do is I share my experience. My experience of doing this is different than yours. That's what makes our successes so great, because we may have taken some similar paths, but at the same token, I'm sure we took very different paths. You asked me about late in life. Look, if for all of you math majors out there, I shared with you how many years I'm doing this. So I started this when I was 41. Okay. And so I was a corporate rat, man. I worked corporate jobs. I was operational managers, but I loved the sales side of businesses, because that's where personality gets to come out.
Very true. Very true.
If you're passionate about what you do, you're not selling a blessed thing. I'm a consultant. I'm not a salesperson. I give you my information. We look to see if my product or service can help you with something. If it can, let's talk. If it doesn't, people think, oh, sorry to waste your time. it's never a waste of time when I could share information, because you may not need me today. You may need me next week or next month or next year, or you know somebody who does. That is worth the investment of time. So I keep striving, dude. I keep striving because I always want to continue. I will never be complacent. And I made a promise to my wife. I don't care if it's my show that I've done for so many years. I don't care what it is. If I wake up one day and I say, I just don't have it in me anymore, that's the day I hang up my microphone, because I will never just do this to do it, because then I'm doing everybody else who watches what I do, the people I interview, a huge disservice. That's when I hang up my microphone. The beauty of what you and I do, hey, if I have an internet connection and a laptop, I can do a podcast from.
You can do it anywhere.
And I've done it. I've done them from vacations and balconies in Lake Havasu, Arizona in August when it's 120 degrees. I've sat on balconies to do my show because I love doing it. I hate missing stuff. So the voice continues to strive for everybody. My tagline on my book is "Let my voice speak to you." In my book, if I'm meeting with somebody, I change one word in that tagline. Let my voice speak for you. That's what I strive to do when I work with businesses. And so I always strive. The voice out here has been a godsend for me. And I don't mean to, you talked about with what we do, we just keep blabbering and blabbering. We just can't help it.
Go ahead, man.
But I spent 19 and a half years of my career in Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world. And I got my launch out there, but you can only talk about David Copperfield so many times, right? I mean, those people out there, you can only talk about them so many times, but God has been great since coming out here in a year and a half. The people that I've met, the things I've been able to talk about has really breathed a new life into what I do, because it's all new for me. Yeah, I grew up in New Jersey, but that's an 8-hour ride north of here. So for me to talk about guys like you who I've met, for me to talk about the Arts Festival down on the boardwalk, for me to talk about Celebration 250 in Norfolk, it's not only new for me, but it's new for my audience. And my Facebook viewership has gone up 25% since I moved here. Then, don't get me started on the great relationship with Sky4, who've been silly enough to put this face for radio in front of a TV camera every Saturday afternoon. So it's been a godsend. I've been very blessed. I have to pinch myself that when I think about what I've done, who I've met, getting on TV, all of that in a year and a half since my wife's last day of school in Las Vegas was June 10th, 2024 was the day of her last day of retirement.
Wow.
We hopped in the car June 11th that morning. June 14th, that Friday, we pulled into the driveway here at my house, and we've been in Virginia Beach ever since. And I can't believe all that has gone on in a year and a half.
Well, you know what? As a resident for folks here in Hampton Roads, we're excited to have you here, because you truly are a treasure. For seriously, and I mean that, because one thing I've always enjoyed, and I have a lot of friends that work in media here in Hampton Roads, and as far as for your local journalists, weather people, you have folks that might consider this area as this is the market where I start up and I move to a larger market.
Right.
But you have a number of people in radio, right, that will stay here forever and become a larger. They build a larger presence, not just here, but even in other areas. They're like, oh, stop that, because it's just something about Hampton Roads at the end of the day is a very homey community. We're a military community. I will say we've kind of followed behind, because you get a lot of folks that will move from New York that will retire or stay here permanently. As you mentioned, Vegas. We have people that come from busier markets and will come to Hampton Roads, and it's like, whoo, kind of can I relax a little bit. I can go here and there and this and that. So no, we're excited to have you, and glad you can call the 757 home.
Well, my license plate now says it. I just got personal plates. VOYC voice 757. I just got them, so I'm honed in now. I got personal plates. So now all your number one fans are going to follow you now. So you might want to hire security. I'm just saying. That's all right. Let them follow me for the right reason. If I owe them money, they better not find me. That's all I'm going to say.
Aaron, you mentioned TV, radio, as well as public speaking. Which one is your most enjoyable which one is your easiest that you think is the easier, and then what's your hardest? I know that's a lot of questions.
That's
but
okay.
Like
my most fun, and I think actors and actresses would almost kind of give you the same thing as to why a lot of successful actors and actresses like to go to Broadway, because they like that immediate response, right? You know, you do a movie or TV, you don't really know what the person watching it is reacting, but when they go to Broadway or they do live performances, they get that immediate reaction. So for me, I love hosting live events, you know, whether it's a fundraiser or whatever it is, because I can now interact with that audience and I can get that immediate laughter, or I can get that immediate, oh my God, I can't believe you really just said that. And then I'm shuffling. But so for me, that's the most fun, because that's like an audition. Everybody that's out there, they may have a need for somebody like me, for somebody that they know, or for something that they're doing. But again, that's why I love doing my shows live, my podcasts, because it's that live energy, you know? So for me, I would say anything that has a live audience. The easiest is what we're doing right now, my podcast, because for those who don't know, internet stuff is not regulated by the FCC, right? So language is not an issue. You know, if a F-bomb drops, you're not going to be dropped off the air. You just move. I'm not Howard Stern by any stretch, but every once in a while, a blue word may slip out. Just
it happens. It happens.
I'm from Jersey. You can't take the Jersey out of the kid. You know what I'm saying? TV has been like riding a bicycle, because my show is 30 minutes, but I have to do 3 8-minute segments. My commercial drops have to be exact. And so that
on the money,
that person you alluded to earlier that introduced us when I tape my shows at Sky4, she's my clock, and she'll give me, when I get down to 1 minute, she's giving me all the symbols and stuff that, man, I got to hit that mark. So for me right now, not that it's a struggle, but it's just getting back into that habit of that discipline. So live podcasting, and then the TV show, and then actually throw in being the interviewee on somebody else's show, having to answer questions. I'll put that down here below that too. So,
yeah, man, it's funny because I've done recorded commercials with Sky4, which, I mean, I consider Sky4 family. Everybody there is, you know, love them to death. And it's hard, you know, when they say you have 28 point this second. It's just so it's also extremely hard. I can't say this. Another thing for me, and it's one of my I will say my kryptonite that I'm trying to continue to work on. I hate public speaking. People are like, wait, what? I'm telling you, I hate public speaking. Meaning I don't like speaking too much in front of crowds. And
right.
So I am oh, hold on, y'all. We are getting some technical difficulties real quick. Hold tight. We're gonna take a quick commercial break. But when we come back, we're gonna finish this conversation with my good friend, Mr. Aaron Phillips. Don't go anywhere. Hold tight, my friends. We're having some technical difficulties. Thank you for sticking with us. As you know, this happens from time to time. No fear. All right, my friends, hold tight. We are back. Sorry about that. We were having some bad technical connection issues. That happens.
Absolutely.
Look, what did we stop off? Oh, Aaron, the whole public speaking, I cannot stand public speaking, man. And look, I'm a people person. I love talking to people, but it's something when you are standing on that stage and you just and for me, I guess I think too much of what other people is gonna think of, and that's when I always need to like erase, because the more I overthink stuff, it eventually just makes me all fidgety and whatever. So that's why I've always said I love talking behind the mic, radio, because I'm not looking per se at people. I know folks are tuning in, but I'm not purposely looking. So that's like one of my biggest things. So I do outside of this show, I do red carpet hosting. I love it. It's one-on-one conversations, people cycling in. It's so much fun. So that's like my enjoyable moments there, but the rest is like, oh my gosh, they're like, hey, you want to public? And I've done it before, but I've done it with groups. I always request, well, I would love to do it. Do you mind if I have a co-host or another group, so I won't have to be so by my and it's just something I can continue. Absolutely, someone to walk off of. So that's a difficult one for me, man. I want to ask, because I mentioned earlier we both have a love for professional wrestling. Right?
Yeah, baby.
And that is something that I've always loved. I mean, since I was a kid, as you rock the Demolition t-shirt, by the way, shout out to Demolition, who just got inducted into the 2026 WWE Hall of Fame. Well-deserved, long overdue. And along with, they're in great company, by the way, because they're inducted with Stephanie McMahon, as well as AJ Styles.
The phenomenal one. Hey.
The phenomenal one. And man, what got, so I know we probably don't have too much time, but we're gonna try and fit. What got you started in the love of professional wrestling?
Real simple. So I have a younger brother and a sister, and on Saturday nights when I was old enough, my parents would go out on a Saturday night. So think about this, folks. You're talking the mid 70s. So here was my Saturday night when they would go out. So 9 o'clock was the Love Boat. 10 o'clock was Fantasy Island. From 11 to 11:30 was the local news. 11:30 until 12 o'clock was Saturday Night Live, when Saturday Night Live was actually fun to watch at the time. And then from 12 to 1 on WOR-TV out of Secaucus, New Jersey at midnight, from midnight to 1 a.m., WWWF, hosted by Vince McMahon and you name it, Jesse Ventura or Bobby
Ventura. Yep.
And I got to see Bruno Sammartino, Superstar Billy Graham, Larry Zbyszko, Chief Jay Strongbow, Don Morocco.
Wow.
So I just got into it from that standpoint. And I'm going to show you something. At the age of 12, my dad took me to my first live wrestling card at Madison Square Garden. I mean, it's not like it was back then. It's not like it is today, where you have a major pay-per-view every month. You know, the novelty of that special show just is not what it is today. But I was in the Garden in 1976, the night Bob Backlund beat Superstar Billy Graham for his title. And those who are interested, you can search on Google Aaron Phillips and Bob Backlund. I had the opportunity to interview Bob Backlund on my internet show back at the time called Vegas Unwrapped.
Wow.
And I may have to take down my background for everybody to see this. So let me do that real quickly here. Bob Backlund signed his poster.
Wow.
You can see it right here by my hand, to Aaron. His statement.
That is cool.
Never capitulate. Leave it to Mr. Backlund, right? Bob Backlund. And I read his book that he wrote, detailing where he came from, which for him, he's from Minnesota. He didn't he's a farm boy. He didn't exactly have Nautilus equipments and free weights. And he talked about how he trained, but you take wrestling for what it is, and it's entertainment. We know it's not real. We know everything. Now, I also called wrestling matches in Las Vegas for some of the local promotions out there, Big Valley Wrestling and Versus Pro Wrestling, even Future Stars of Wrestling, which is where guys like Chris Bay, Karrion Kross, they all came through Vegas. Wow. So I've called matches. I've been in the ring as a ring announcer for some of these guys. But when you're calling it on commentary, you see things that you hope are not seen on television. But it's entertainment, folks. These are athletes that perform for us. The flippy, as they say, excuse my French, the flippy shit off the top ropes. I couldn't do that. There's a reason a guy like Hulk Hogan pretty much was a bear hug, a leg drop, hulking up and all of that stuff, because he knew his limits. He knew what he was capable of doing. And so you take it for, and I still love wrestling today. I still will watch it. SmackDown was here at the Scope Arena a couple of months ago. A good friend of mine out in Vegas flew out here for us to go to SmackDown together.
Wow.
I never have to go to a live event ever again, as far as I'm concerned. But WrestleMania was in Las Vegas last year, and because of the huge success, WrestleMania is back in Las Vegas again this year. It is the Mecca. AEW and all that, they only hope to be the WWE when they grow up, so to speak. I did have the privilege years ago to interview Demolition, Axe, and geez, why am I blanking?
Hold on. Demolition, a Smash.
Smash. There you go. Axe. I mean, Bill 80 and these guys, I interviewed them on a show back there years ago. So it's an honor to be right. This is the first time I'm actually wearing the shirt. It's huge on me because I've lost a lot of weight since I bought this. But these guys are getting in, and it's just, if you take what it is, it's an entertainment. It's a choice for entertainment. Then you never real. But there are people that that live and die by it, and okay, I get it. It's a soap opera for guys. Is really what wrestling was back in the day.
You're absolutely. Right? I mean, when I can, and my parents can let you know, when I was a kid, there was only wrestling action figures. When it was time to play video games, there was only wrestling video games. When it was time to go to Blockbuster and get a tape or a DVD, I got pay-per-views or wrestling. Like, I was indulgent. It's funny because that was another thing that bonded my grandmother and myself, because my grandmother was watching, and you mentioned soap operas. She was into her All My Children's, Days of Our Life, all the soaps.
General
Hospital. And then it was wrestling for me. And I always, as a kid, it's like, oh, I'm going to be one of that. And then I realized, okay, I'm 5'8" and just 200. And these guys are they're like 6'8" and 300 plus, all muscle. Not for me. But maybe I can be a referee.
Right. Well, referees take bumps also. I remember one night I was doing ring announcing for Big Valley Wrestling, and I was in the ring and I introduced the first competitor, and I was standing a little too close to the rope because he started bouncing the ropes. He goes across, he comes back, bounces off the rope behind me. And let me tell you, my friend, and I'm wearing this t-shirt, a dress shirt, and my sport coat. That rope bounced off my back. I thought I got whipped. So those ropes are let me tell you, those ropes are no joke. But they're athletes. They know how to do what they do. And again, you got it now. It's a $1 billion business. Okay.
Extremely profitable.
You can see the belts. So I have to be honest with you, the belts that I have pictures of behind me. And folks, this is my office I'm sitting in right now at home, my home studio. I took these pictures about 45 minutes before I went on the air here so I can show my belts. But you can buy a lot of these belts in the aftermarket. You go on these sites and you go onto WWE shop, and you're looking at belts that are $500-$600. Most of the belts that you see in the pictures that I've been showing, I'm buying on the aftermarket for less than $300, and they're replica belts. They're not the commemorative lightweight that you would find in Target on the toy shelf. These are replicas of 10 pounds of gold. I've got the WCW belt. I think it's in this picture. There you go. It's in the picture behind me, right over there. Yep, I see it. That's the top one right there. The traditional Intercontinental belt, the smoking gun. Now this belt, I even see.
I think the yellow Intercontinental,
yellow Intercontinental belt that Cody Rhodes made popular. That's correct. But I had this belt right here. The Voice. That is a custom belt I had made, and I don't know if it's in the picture or not. That I can see. Let me see if I can roll back.
You were showing it. Yep.
Yeah, but below it, I actually had a Batman belt custom made as well. So I have a couple of customs, but most of these belts that you see, I buy in the aftermarket, and I have connections that can get me these belts at reduced rates. And so, because if I paid full price and my wife found out about it, I'd be out on the street with all the belts. You know what I'm saying?
Don't worry. If you just call up your friend Arrington, I'll make sure
there you go.
But what's so interesting, Aaron, because when I see the evolve of world wrestling entertainment, right? There were the olden days, there was territories. Then you had WWE. Then you had Tom Warner started with the WCW. Right. and you have so many different companies, but at the end of the day, the mecca is still WWE. It's now run by Triple H, Hunter Holmes Helmsley for some of y'all, but
Paul Levesque.
Yep. And it's so cool seeing how, I mean, for me, and don't get me wrong, like I do think sometimes it's good to still hold some older values, you know, that they had in the past. I do think it's very, very, very corporate. I mean, it's if or nothing, like they are corporate to the core. They have so many spinoffs, reality shows, behind the scene documentaries, which I do enjoy though. I appreciate the behind the scenes, so you get to see that. I love those. But there's so many, and then you're seeing a lot of unifying different, like TNA is pretty much a part of WWE now. Like you see,
now they've got the arrangement.
Yeah, and it's like I like it ish. It's just sometimes I kind of like seeing the differences, because there was a period where I fell off from WWE and I started actually watching TNA heavily. Like I was watching that a lot, from the square circle to the octagon circle. Then you had AEW. AEW is right now, like, you know, I wouldn't consider it competition, but it's an alternative to check out if you're not watching. But there's so many.
I'm disappointed in AEW, because when they started, they were supposed to be different than WWE, and I'm like, what have you done differently? Shown a little more blood. You're keeping records, which didn't last long. I mean, John Moxley bleeds on every episode, you know.
Exactly.
I mean, so, you know, to me, and they're becoming WWE light because of all the former WWE stars that are signing with them. So
I see a little, and I'm going to cut you off. I see a little ECW kind of vibes with AEW, because they're a little more vulgar. They're a little more unfiltered, which, I mean, you have WWE now on Netflix, where they have the freedom to now be a little more unfiltered, but AEW brings off that ECW, we can't stand the opposing side. And on top of that, I feel like AEW is like the job market for those past wrestlers that said, I still got it. Like I still got some more matches. Like, I mean, like it was a reason why, and you know, God bless him, he's a legend. But no one was gonna have Ric Flair fight another fight. This man almost fought death, literally, and he's like, I'm sorry, the retirement match shouldn't have happened. And for me, I mean, I enjoyed the storyline, but I hated it. And I got so
74 years old with a pit. Listen, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, who's 30 years younger than him, has a pacemaker, and he's not even stepping back into the ring with his health condition. And you got Ric Flair, 74, when he had that tag match 2 years ago, whatever. I mean,
it's disgusting.
I was like, people don't like wrestling as it is, and now you've got this fiasco. Gives those people more fuel to the fires to why they wrestling is fake and shit. You know, the Athletic Commission should have had their licenses revoked for even approving and letting him into the ring. So
yeah, and Rick is always gonna give you a bloodbath of a, you know, he's always been one of those guys. The peach blonde hair turns all red by the time the match is over. I'm just like,
absolutely,
this is too much, man. But you're seeing them continue to, as I mentioned, you know, grow. What's your grade though that you will give Paul Levesque? Just, I mean, you know, what do you personally prefer? As a true fan, are you a fan of the new kind of process that they're doing? You know, they're retiring guys like AJ Styles and inducted him literally like a minute after, you know, in the heat of the moment. I mean, he's well deserved. Don't get me wrong. But it's just like,
if that's the case, why didn't Cena get announced to go into Hall of Fame right away? I mean, if there was somebody that would have deserved to be the minute he lost and his hand was dropped, Undertaker's gong should have rang. He should have been out there while he was still out cold and told John Cena that he's being inducted. I mean, again, AJ, well deserved. No, I have no issues with that. Mm-hmm. But how do you put him in right away before John Cena? I mean, come on, you know, but
no, go ahead, Aaron.
No. I was going to say, all it is what they're going to do to build the card around WrestleMania. All that Hall of Fame is, you know, I mean, but again, it's recognition, well deserved for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Do you think when they do moments like that though, because even with Stephanie McMahon getting inducted, now Stephanie is very much still ownership, in charge. She's still in charge, and I think sometimes
is she though?
That is true. That, well,
you know,
yeah.
I think
I don't know.
Maybe
like, are people intimidated by her in a sense? You know what I mean? I think that's what I mean by like in charge. Like if she's walking down the hall, best believe people are gonna be like, hey, straighten up. It's
well, I think
it's
that's
a McMahon.
You're right. Yeah. See, I think that has a lot to do with it, and I think because of her last name, I think there's a perception. If you peel that back, because look, anytime are you the same Arrington when you're not doing your show? Am I the same Aaron Phillips that people see here? I mean, to a degree, yeah, but when the cameras are not on, are we not a little more subdued version of ourselves? We have significant others. We have a family life. So I think I think Vince truly was Mr. McMahon 24/7. I think he was an individual that you could hate 24/7. In separate interviews, I think I want to believe deep down that Stephanie is not the same person as off camera as portrayed as the daughter, as the authority daughter, because that's a character. Again, if we understand what wrestling is, I think Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis are two individuals I think lived the gimmick 24/7. Yeah. The Undertaker, Mark Calloway, is the last professional wrestler that wrestled under a gimmick and lived it to the point where kayfabe, which for those who don't know is protecting the character that we see on TV, even off camera. Everybody wrestles under a name now. You don't have, they wrestle as a person. So I think Stephanie, I think maybe there's some trepidation. Oh my God, it's a McMahon. I think when the cameras are not on, I think, yeah, she maybe she is a quiet partner on the back end helping Triple H run the company because she is visible now. She's been a little more visible. She's gone out, welcomed people to pay-per-views, that sort of thing. But I think the WWE universe wants to see Stephanie back involved now that Dad is no longer involved. And to go back to your question, I have no problem with Triple H. I think there's some things that are suspect, but I think overall since taking over, I think Triple H has done a great job bringing WWE back to respectability. I think there's added pressure with the relationship with TKO and now The Rock having a majority stake in TKO that basically Triple H is reporting to The Rock, and The Rock can him like that. So I think that's added. I think having Shawn down in NXT, because we know the relationship between Shawn and Triple H has always been close. I think that's great for the sustainability of the TV product that we see on Raw and SmackDown, as well as NXT being its own brand. I mean, it was a third brand, which Vince did not like. Which is why he kind of, it was supposed to just be developmental, which was Triple H's baby in the first place.
Yeah.
So I have no issues with what Triple H is doing, has done in the couple of years since McMahon stepped away. It would only made sense. And I think anybody else, even The Rock, I don't think The Rock would do it justice the way Triple H has. Because he lived next to McMahon all those years.
I was just about to say. Aaron, we got about 60 seconds, and if you don't mind, I would love to chop it with you just for a couple minutes after this after the show. But look, we definitely have got to do some wrestling segments here on this show. We definitely, and we will, y'all. Aaron, how can folks continue to follow you?
Absolutely.
Your programs. Like I said, you're a Renaissance man with those programs, but how can folks continue to support?
AaronsHour.Vegas is my major website. You can also check out WVBVTV.com. That houses my network. Or if you want to check out the TV show, just go to Facebook at The Voice of 757. After the show airs on Saturdays from 12:30 to 1 on Cox Cable Channel 4 and Sky 4. I do post the video up on Facebook so that people can catch it at their leisure as well. Or you can just email me at aaron@thevoiceof757.com.
Aaron, I truly appreciate it. Who said Steve Harvey's the hardest working man in showbiz? I know another person. That's
what you gonna do, brother, when these voices, Arrington and The Voice, run wild on you?
Aaron, thank you, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Love it. Aaron Phillips, the one and only, ladies and gents. Look, I hope you enjoyed yet another great convo, my friends, here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Please, as always, continue to support, stay informed, stay safe. I will talk to you soon for another great convo. I'm out.
That's it for tonight on the Arrington Gavin Gavin Show. Thanks for tapping in and keeping the conversation alive. Don't forget, stay connected with us on all platforms. Follow at Arrington Gavin on Instagram, Blue Sky, and X, and subscribe to the official Substack for exclusive takes and deep dives you won't get anywhere else. We're here every weeknight, same time, same energy, same real talk. Until next time, stay bold, stay sharp, and stay true. That's what we do on the Arrington Gavin Show. Peace.